Procrastination feels like a personality trait. It isn't. It's a decision you keep making without noticing. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, that you work better under pressure, that you just need to feel ready. Meanwhile, the thing sits there rotting, and so does your self-respect. The Stoics solved this 2,000 years ago with no apps, no dopamine hacks, no 5 a.m. grind cult, no color-coded planner. Just a handful of unglamorous mental habits they repeated until delay became almost impossible. Here they are. Habit 1. Doing the worst task first. The move that sounds like punishment. You know that one person who knocks out the thing they dread before they even touch their phone? The scary call, the ugly email, the report they've been avoiding for a week? Done. Before 9 a.m. While the rest of us ease into the day by reorganizing the desk and answering emails that don't matter. Here's what's actually happening. The dreaded task doesn't shrink when you wait. It grows. It sits in the back of your skull all day, draining you, charging interest every hour you avoid it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. The thing in your way is the way. The Stoics ran straight at the obstacle because they knew avoidance is just suffering on a payment plan. But you'd rather feel the low hum of dread for 9 hours than 10 minutes of discomfort up front. How boring is this? Brutally. Does it kill procrastination? At the root. Win the morning by doing the thing you want to run from, and the day stops winning against you. Habit 2. Remembering you're going to die. Morbid, but stay with me. There's a certain kind of person who moves with a quiet urgency. Not panicked, just unwilling to waste a day. They don't say someday. They do it now because they actually believe their time runs out. Meanwhile, you're acting like you've got 10,000 years and a backup life saved somewhere. Here's what's actually happening. Later only feels safe because you've quietly assumed you're immortal. You're not. Marcus Aurelius told himself, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. He wasn't being dark, he was being honest. The deadline is real and it's coming for everyone. Procrastination is just pretending the clock isn't running. How boring is this? Strangely heavy. Does it light a fire under you? Instantly. You don't need motivation when you remember the timer was always counting down.
Habit 3. Letting go of the outcome. The habit that feels backwards. You know that person who just starts the thing badly without needing it to be perfect or guaranteed to work? They write the messy draft. They make the awkward attempt. They're fine looking foolish on the way to good. Meanwhile, you won't begin until you're certain it'll turn out great, which means you never begin. Here's what's actually happening. Most procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear wearing a costume. Fear it won't be good enough. Fear of judgment. Fear of failing in front of people. Epictetus split the world in two, the things you control and the things you don't. The effort is yours, the result never was. When you stop demanding a guaranteed outcome before you act, the paralysis just disappears. You only owe the attempt. But you'd rather protect a perfect idea in your head than risk an imperfect one in the world. How boring is this? Quietly. Does it free you to start? Completely. The outcome was never yours to control, so put it down and move. Habit 4. Getting out of bed the second you wake up. The least exciting discipline on earth. You know that person who's just up, feet on the floor, no negotiation, no 9 alarms, no scrolling in the dark for 40 minutes? The day starts when their eyes open. Meanwhile, you lie there bargaining with yourself until guilt finally drags you up an hour late, already behind. Here's what's actually happening. The first decision you delay teaches your brain that delay is allowed. You lose the whole day in bed before it even starts. Marcus Aurelius wrote about exactly this. At dawn, when you struggle to get up, tell yourself you are made for work, not to lie warm under the blankets. The most powerful man in the Roman world had to talk himself out of bed too. He just won the argument. How boring is this? Painfully. Will you do it tomorrow? Probably not, which is why your mornings keep eating you alive. Discipline starts the moment your eyes open, not when you finally feel like it. Habit 5. Picturing exactly what it costs you to wait. Sounds like overthinking. It's the opposite. There's a person who, before they put something off, plays the tape forward. The chance that closes. The version of them a year from now still stuck in the exact same spot, and it scares them into moving. Meanwhile, you only ever imagine the comfort of skipping it today, never the price of skipping it every day. Here's what's actually happening. Procrastination survives because you see the relief and never the bill. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, deliberately imagining loss and failure ahead of time. Seneca said we suffer more in imagination than in reality, but he also used imagination as a weapon. Picture the cost clearly enough, and suddenly doing the thing feels easier than living with not doing it. How boring is this? Grimly. Does it work? Your future self is begging you to try it. Fear the year you waste, not the hour the task takes.
Habit 6. Shrinking the day down to the next thing only. Sounds too simple to matter. You know that person who never seems crushed by a giant workload? They're not staring at the whole mountain. They're looking at the next step, doing it, then the next one. Meanwhile, you look at the entire to-do list at once, feel the weight of all of it, and do none of it. Here's what's actually happening. Overwhelm is procrastination's favorite disguise. The task isn't too hard. The pile just looks too big from where you're standing. Marcus Aurelius told himself to concentrate every minute on the thing in front of him, done with full seriousness, as if it were the last thing he'd ever do. Not the 100 things, the one thing. You can't do a list. You can only ever do the next action. How boring is this? Almost too simple. Does it dissolve the overwhelm? Every time. Stop trying to lift a mountain and just pick up the next stone. Habit 7. Acting before you feel ready. The habit that ruins your favorite excuse. You know that person who just begins while you're still doing research, buying the course, planning the plan, waiting for the perfect Monday? They look almost reckless. They're not. They've just realized readiness is a feeling that never actually shows up. Here's what's actually happening. Planning feels like progress, which is exactly why it's the most comfortable form of procrastination. You get the hit of productivity with none of the risk. Marcus Aurelius cut through it in one line. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stop rehearsing the life you want and start living 1 minute of it. Action creates clarity. Thinking just creates more thinking. But you'd rather feel ready forever than feel uncomfortable once. How boring is this? Almost insultingly. Does it break the loop? Immediately. You are never waiting to feel ready. You are waiting for permission you have to give yourself.
Habit 8. Doing hard things on purpose when nothing forces you to. This one sounds unhinged. There's a person who takes the cold shower, sits with the boredom, does the rep they could have skipped, all for no reason except practice. Meanwhile, you dodge every small discomfort and then wonder why the big ones flatten you. Here's what's actually happening. Procrastination is just discomfort avoidance running on autopilot. If you flinch at every hard thing, your brain learns to flee by default. Seneca, who is genuinely rich, would practice living poor on purpose so hardship could never ambush him. The Stoics trained discomfort like a muscle, so when real work showed up, sitting inside it felt normal. You've trained the exact opposite, comfort at all costs, then shock when you can't push through anything. How boring is this? Unbearably. Does it make hard work easy? Eventually, yes. Practice suffering on purpose and procrastination loses its only weapon over you. Habit 9. Treating your time like it's almost gone. The least glamorous habit on the list. You know that person who guards their hours like a miser? They don't kill time. They don't hand an afternoon to something that doesn't matter. They protect the day like it's the last of something. Meanwhile, you torch 3 hours scrolling, call it relaxing, then panic at midnight about everything you didn't do. Here's what's actually happening. You treat time like it's infinite, so you spend it like it's worthless. Seneca said it isn't that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. The time was never the problem, the leaking was. When you start counting the hours, you stop giving them away to things that don't deserve them. How boring is this? Unbearably. Will it change your life? Quietly and completely. Procrastination is just time you'll never be able to explain to yourself later. Here's the quiet truth nobody wants to hear. There's no secret system that makes procrastination disappear. No app, no hack, no perfect setup. The Stoics beat it with the most boring tools imaginable. Do the hard thing first. Remember you'll die. Drop the outcome. Get up, see the cost. Do the next thing only. Act before you feel ready. Choose discomfort. Guard your time. None of it is exciting. None of it would ever go viral. That's exactly why it works. Exciting fixes burn out in a week. Boring discipline compounds in silence until one day the thing you used to dread is just the thing you do. You didn't beat procrastination with motivation. You beat it by repeating something unimpressive when nobody was watching and you didn't feel like it. If this hit a nerve, good. That nerve is the part of you that already knows. Hit like if you're done waiting for the perfect moment. Subscribe like you're choosing discipline over delay. Because the work was never the hard part, the avoiding was. Same principles, 2,000 years old, still undefeated.